All right, I'm in public, which is kind of weird filming a video, but I'm at the thrift store and I love coming here. And I think that there's a lot of things that if you look around, you can find that you can use in your glass studio. And so I just got started, but I thought I would show you some of the things that I'm finding. If you're a fearless fuser and you're willing to try anything, there's a lot of options for you. So here's an example. You know, we're all often looking for iron stands for our work. Here's what was clearly a serving stand of some sort, but if you do drop vases or if you have a nice bowl mold that you can create a lid, or excuse me, a lip on that, you could pick this up. I'm not sure that I'm digging the gold, but you know, give that a coat of black paint or something and create a small drop vessel for it, and that could be a really nice piece. Right next to it here are some of these stoneware molds. Now, this one looks like it might have been used, or certainly has a lot of funk on it. I would probably pre-fire this in the kiln by itself, but then this is stoneware, and just you know, spray this down with some zip spray and fill it with frit, and you could get some neat pieces out of this. So this is a nice shallow piece, and it's a really good size, just a ceramic piece. It's glazed. You could, if you have a sandblaster, you could sandblast some of that finish off. You can spray this with zip, and you could easily use this as a slumping mold. I don't have a sandblaster, but that doesn't mean I couldn't still rough it up with a diamond pad, or even just leave it as is. Spray it down with some zip and use it. You might have to reapply the zip several times because it could flake off of this. But when you think about this price we pay for slumping molds, and you could pick up something like this that's really nice at the thrift store, you know, some good opportunity here. So I would say take a look at all the ceramics with that in mind. Here's another really cool one. I mean, this is a massive piece, massive platter. You know, this one is, I don't know, $10, so that's a little rich for my blood, but if at a garage sale or something, if you found this for $1 or $2, I'd be willing to take scrap glass and try to slump into it to see if I could make it work and find a good schedule. Right above it, there was this leaf plate that I thought looked pretty cool, and but when I feel it, so you know, you've got the shape obviously, but this is all smooth. So unfortunately, I was hoping that maybe these indentations were in there that you could pick up that veining, but it's not. It's smooth, so you wouldn't see that if you bought something like that to fuse into it. This piece is kind of funky. Spray that down with some zip, fill it with frit, and do a casting in there. That could look pretty cool. Think outside the box too. These are you familiar with these? These are the risers that you put under a bed. So there are 4 of them in this set. You know, if you do shows, it might be nice to have some multi-level tables. So something like this you could put under your table legs and lift your table up by, I don't know, 8 inches, 10 inches, and create some depth in your display. Cocktail shaker. So the bottom part of this is great to use as a floral former that you can put and drape over in your kiln. You just got to make sure it's not aluminum. So you got to make sure that it's stainless. And one of the ways to test for that is to use a magnet. If it sticks to it, then it's likely not aluminum. But again, I might fire something like this without any glass on it just to test it in my kiln if I was unsure. But this is quite a bit less expensive than buying the formers that you find online. One of my favorite areas to look at are the frames. So I'm really getting into making fused glass panels that I've been framing, and you know, there are so many cool options here that you could find to frame one of your pieces. This piece back here was an open back frame. You pull that ugly pull that ugly flower off, repaint that perhaps, or leave it as is and put a coordinating piece of glass in there, and you've got a really cool piece. Again, so many frames to pick from. Many of these you can just you know, grab one, pop the glass out, put your panel in instead, and you've got a really cool display piece. Here's an example of something in the framing department. This little acrylic stand, this is 5 by 7. If you're going to do a show, print out a you know, your website address or a you know, QR code or something for PayPal or Venmo or Zelle or however you accept payments. Print that out, put it in the stand. This was 49 cents, and it's perfect for your display at a show. This has absolutely nothing to do with fused glass, but isn't that guy cute? Here's a little salt shaker. I wonder if you could put some powder in that and use that as a duster to dust powder over your piece. Here's a very large cookie cutter, and there are other cookie cutters hanging up here too. Now chances are these might be steel, but like they might have rivets in it that are aluminum or something, so you do have to be careful with these. Here's another idea for the cookie cutter. Even if you don't fuse with it, you could put it down as a template. This is clearly a skull. You could fill it with powder and then lift up, and you would have your shape as well. So another tip, this is a clock. It's clearly broken. The hand is broken in there, but you could find some clocks and maybe take them apart and use the Clockworks. So I would recommend bringing a battery or two with you just so you can test clocks like this. But in this case, I just think that the porthole looking frame, which is metal, is super cool. So something like this, you could pop the entire Clockworks out of and actually make a round piece of glass to mount in there and use that as a cool frame. This one might actually be going home with me. Problem is they want $8 for it, and it's clearly broken, so a little pricey for that. Okay, so this is the area that I always make a beeline to when I first get here, although I didn't this time. But I don't know what to call this. It's just miscellaneous housewares, but a lot of times you find these pieces that could be used in displays. So take a critical look in this area and see. Kind of like I showed you earlier, like there was a serving thing that could be a display. Same thing here. You've got two levels. Make small drop vessels that would fit in there. That could make a really cool set. As I'm looking through here, you just have to use your imagination. I'm not so sure about that or that, but these are the types of pieces you're looking for, what you want to take a look for and see. Can I use that in my glass area? Is there something in here that's stainless steel that I could use in the kiln itself? So always take a look at this area and see what you find. Here's another good opportunity. So maybe you can find some costume jewelry and replace the pendant with one of your own. Maybe you'll get lucky and actually find some really good jewelry. You know, just opportunity here to brainstorm, come up with ideas, see what you can do, what you can use, what you can repurpose. Okay, so don't underestimate the opportunity of the soft goods as well. So this is like bedspreads and sheets and blankets. I have found different things that I can use to cover my display tables at sales and for a fraction of the cost, particularly if you're just starting out. So if you're going to go do some shows and you don't know if you're really committed to doing shows long term, this might be a great area to find, you know, plain white linens or plain black linens or something to cover your tables. Lanterns, this is another perfect example of you know, you've seen lots of people who take the glass out of these lanterns and then you know, replace it with their own. Now, I wouldn't necessarily with these because they're awfully small. That's a lot of glass you got to take out, but basically on any kind of lantern, for the most part, you can just pry some tabs like this out, pop the glass out, make your own little panels and put them in instead. These are rough, these aren't going home with me, but it's an example of the kind of thing that you should be looking for. Here's a set of wine charms. Pop all the charms off, make your own, and just use the hardware. And then you've got a piece of something custom that you could sell at your booth. You're familiar with the game Mancala, so here's one that's solid wood and it folds. You know, it says right on the top that it has 48 stones that are included. Well, what if some are missing? So make your own babies, or even use some with make some with dichroic and then sell this as a game at your table. Okay, so I'm leaving. I'm probably empty-handed. I don't think I'm gonna find anything. I would have picked some stuff up if it were a little cheaper. I think the prices here are a little high, but hope you enjoyed this. Drop me a note. Let me know in the comments what treasures you found at a thrift shop that you've used in your own fusing. And if you like this and wanna see more from me, then please subscribe to the channel and we'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.